Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So a team spent 3 weeks trying to fix a slow pipeline, not days, 3 actual weeks. So there were 3 engineers who were working on it for full time. So they tried every possible ways. They tried scaling the runners. They tried tweaking the Kubernetes. They tried checking the networking. Everything you'd expect a good team to try. Nothing literally worked. Then someone opened the Docker files. 4 lines written on day one of the project. And one small mistake was there. It was adding 8 minutes to every single build whenever the Docker build was run. So every commit, every deploy, nobody noticed it for months. So in this video, I will show you what actually is happening inside the Docker builds and why this keeps happening even when nothing changes to your code or any of the components, and how you can literally fix it in few minutes. So without any further delay, let's jump into the video. Before understanding the fix or understanding the overall scenario, we need to understand the very basic problem with regards to your Docker builds. We call it as the black box problem, what exactly it is. Now, here is where most engineers go wrong whenever a Docker pipeline is slow. They literally don't look inside the build, they look around it. They add or they try to add more compute, they try to add big runners, faster networks, or they just improve the storage or whatsoever. Maybe even they tweak caching at the Kubernetes layer. All of that makes sense, but it is usually the wrong place to look for because nobody actually opens up the build itself. Why? Because the build itself is a black box. You run Docker build, it takes time, and you just accept it that it is a usual time which a Docker build should take. It feels like a one simple command, however you have done in your local environment. That exactly is called as a black box. So you just trust it and just move on. But inside that black box, there is a very specific set of rules. And when those rules are broken, Docker starts rebuilding things which it does not need to rebuild every single time. So that is not a pipeline problem. It's a build problem in Docker itself. And throwing more runners, more compute, it won't fix it. Then what it can fix it? So before jumping into the fix, you have to understand how exactly Docker actually builds. So you have to understand the mental model about how Docker exactly builds or what happens inside that black box whenever you perform the Docker build. So whenever you run Docker build, Docker reads your Docker file from top to bottom, and every instruction in that file, like from, run, copy, cmd, creates something called as a layer. So think of it like as a stacking slices. So every command just adds one more layer on top of the previous one. So every instruction you provide in the Docker file is like a layer which gets created or adds on one more layer on top of the previous layer. So let's say if you have, or this is your Docker file, and you have this kind of instruction which you have written in your Docker file, every stage or every command which you have mentioned is considered as a stage. So, or we call it as layer. So if from is there, then this is your layer 1, this is your layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, and layer 5. So combining everything, your image will be created, which we call it as the stage for optimized image creation, which is always the final stage. Now, this is where things get interesting because Docker does not rebuild everything every time. So if a layer has not changed since the last build, Docker just reuses it. From where? From the snapshot which it has taken from the previous build. No rebuild, no extra work. So that exactly we call it as a Docker caching. And if nothing changes, your build will be finishing very quickly. If there is a change and it is not written properly, then it can take a lot of time. That is what we are going to solve, and we'll see how exactly it will be solved. Now, there is one important rule in the entire system or entire flow within the build. The cache invalidation is top to bottom, which means if something changes in between or in the middle, everything below that point will be rebuilt too. No exception. And this is the part most people miss. Docker is not caching the commands. It is the caching the file system state, the command result, what has been hashed in the previous layer. Very important thing, not the commands. For example, let's say you have pip installed some command. So Docker think that is the entire file system before this step is identical to last time or not. If yes, then reuse the cache. If no, then rerun the step. And once one layer changes, after that, it has to. How? That is what we call it as cache invalidation. For example, let's say in this step, you have this, and this. For example, let's say in your package.json, if something has changed. So whenever you run a next build, Docker will see this file. If there is a change or there is a hashing which has been changed, then all this step after this will be rebuilded. This will be cached or this will be skipped by your Docker. So that is what we call it as cache invalidation, which happens from top to bottom. And in between, if one step has missed, then the following steps will be continued. That is very important concept. And it is the main fuel behind how exactly you write a Docker file. And this is the most considerable option while you are writing your Docker file for the efficiency or improving your build speed. How to do it? Let's see. Now, I would like to show you one very common mistake, which I have seen most often, is that the way copy is ordered in your Docker file. So whenever your builds get slower, there might be multiple scenarios or multiple things which may affect your build speed. But most of the time, there are three possible issues or three possible causes which can slow down your build drastically. Let's see one of them in action. So for understanding the cache invalidation, I have created a demo project where I have the project something like this. So in that, I have a application written in Python. It's a simple Python script. And I have a requirement.txt with all required pip packages, which has to be installed during the build. And I have a Docker file which resonates how normally everyone writes a Docker file. So in that, there is a from layer for pulling the Python packages, then defining the work directory. Then we are copying all the files. And after that, we're running the pip install from the requirement.txt. And finally, we are running the app and we are exiting, right? So now let's build it. So for building it, simple command, I will use docker build demo app. Now, here is the interesting part. We need to see the time which is taken for the first initial build and all the action which it can be shown over here. Now, it is installing the requirement.txt, which is the costliest part during the build process and takes a lot of time. And now we will see how it can be improved by fixing the order of the copy or writing it properly so that your build gets executed within few minutes or few seconds maybe. So let it run. Each stage, as I mentioned, is a layer. Every layer is built separately. Now in my layer 4, where exactly the packages are getting installed is ideally taking time and it is expected for the first time build. Now the layer 4 is completed. Now it has moved to layer 5, where exactly it is building the final image and my image building is done. So now this is the interesting part. It took almost 133 seconds. Now what I will do is in my app.py, I will change something, which means ideally I am changing a code. So now, if you have not defined the order of your command, then caching does not come to the effect. So now, while the build is happening, so what exactly is happening under the hood? So if you see the Docker file or you remember the Docker file, so in this, we have defined the work directory, then we are telling the Docker to copy everything to the container. Now, in this, we have changed the code where exactly the layer is breaking, right? Because the app.py has a change or the code got changed for which from the top to bottom approach or the cache invalidation layer, all the things has to be followed after that, which means our pip install, which was previously run, Docker didn't consider is a caching layer. So what it did, it tried to rebuild it. That is how the cache invalidation works. And this is the most important fuel for slowing down your Docker. So that is why how you write the instruction or how you write the Docker file is very important. And this sequence is very important for maintaining your Docker builds. The problem happened is the sequence was not right, for which it took the same time despite of building the same image or rebuilding the same image. Due to a just small code change, it has resulted the build time to happen at the same level, which have just rebuilded the app which was already existed. Now, what I will do is I will change the Docker file and I will try to write it properly. How I will do? So I will just write the Docker file. So now this is the costlier step, right? So where exactly it is happening. So we are changing our code every time, which is a known behavior because our release has to happen every time. And for that reason, the code change will happen again and again. But after that, whatever you have written over here is normally getting rebuilded due to cache invalidation. How you can change it? So what I will do is I will just move the copy.requirement.txt before that, right? So how I will do? After working directory, I will just change it and I will run the pip install command and I will copy. Then I will run the app. Now let's see what difference it is making. I've not done anything. I've just changed the sequence, how exactly your requirement.txt is being fetched and what is the sequence of your application code, which is getting inside your container during the build process. So now what I will do is I will just build a new container with the new Docker file. Let's see. So I have just renamed it to demo app fixed so that you can consider which image is good, which image is not. So the first build will take obviously the time because we are building a fresh container, but the second build onwards, that is what it changes everything. Let's see it. Now I have built the app. Now what I will do is I will just again change my app.py or my source code. Any random change, how you do normally. Now I will rebuild the app with a good Docker file. I will show you again the Docker file. So what we are doing. So now So before your code gets copied to the container, all the copy of the requirement.txt we have taken care. So now what we are doing is we are just shifting the things, which is not always changing, because in this, the libraries, your pip files or your dependencies will never change. But your source code is getting changed maybe every week, every release, every day, does not matter. But the source code or the libraries are not getting changed each time. So that is why we are just changing the order or changing the order of your requirement.txt before your source code is getting copied to that. Because here we are tweaking the cache invalidation to check from the changed version only. So in this, our changed version is only the source code. So that is why it is very important. We have just triggered the caching within your Docker build so that your build does not take much time whenever it is getting builded next time. If your source code is the only factor which gets changed every week or every day or within your release cycle. Let's see by building it, how much time now it takes. Now, I've just triggered it and it has just finished with fraction of seconds, within 0.6 seconds. Let's see what exactly it is happening. Now, from the first step, it has just, from Docker, it has just gone. Now, in the layer 2, it cached because everything was same. It cached the third layer as well for copying the requirement.txt because we didn't change anything in the requirement.txt. We cached the install layer as well because this thing was not changed. So pip install has run without any changing. In this layer, the caching has not changed. And from here, now the image building has been started and it took fraction of second, mostly 0.2 seconds, for which your build got changed. I can change n number of times my source code, does not matter. Each time build will be taking very less time, which is negligible. And that is how you can improve your build speed. Now, let me change the code again and rebuild it. So now, n number of time, if I'm changing the source code, does not matter. Each time it will be fixed and each time build will be super fast. While a bad positioning of your instruction was creating the caching null, for which it was taking a lot of time. By fixing the positioning, you are literally improving your build speed. And that is the trick which you can apply right away once you get into your production. Now, there may be multiple issues as well. Like that, there might be a second cause for, we call it as build context bloating. What exactly it is? For example, let's say whenever you Docker build, you simply run the command as docker build -t followed by your image name dot. So that dot actually matters the most, which people think or does not think most of the time. So what Docker exactly does is it takes your entire current directory and sends it to the build system before it even starts running your Dockerfile. So that we call it as the build context. And most of the time it is a way bigger than it should be. So let's say if you have a node modules within your folder and in there are tens of thousands of files. And if you have a .git folder, that is your entire repo history like logs, build artifacts, test outputs, etc., etc. Docker just sends all of it every single time you run a build before step one even begins. So I have seen this alone add 3 to 4 minutes to your overall build process without people realizing where that time is going. Because when you look at the logs, it looks like that first step is slow, but it is not. The delay is exactly happening before the build is even starting. For this, the fix is actually simple. You just add a Docker ignore file. In that, you mention all the unnecessary files which are not supposed to be sent by Docker while your build is running, like your .git, .log, dist, build, pycache, .env files, etc., etc. So you just tell the Docker what not to send, and suddenly your context drops from hundreds of megabytes to you to almost nothing. Build starts instantly instead of taking minutes. And the easiest way to spot this is look at the very first line your build output, something like this. So if you see here, so this is the transfer of your Docker file which is happening, and this is what sending your build context to your Docker daemon. In our case, it is just 179 bytes. In an ideal scenario, if that number is over 50 MB, you are probably have a context problem. And if it is over 200 MB, you have definitely never have set up the Docker ignore. If you have not, then go ahead and first thing you write the Docker ignore in your repository or in your build folder. Now, there is a third time of problem, or we call it as no caching at all in your continuous integration. Now, this is the most expensive one in your real pipelines because most of the time we perform the builds using our pipeline itself and almost nobody talks about it. So whenever you build locally, your machine or your laptop remembers everything it has built before. So the next time you run the build, most layers are already cached. It is normally fast, but in your continuous integration pipelines, it does not work like that. So every pipeline run usually starts on a fresh machine. For example, from a new runner or maybe from a new Jenkins build server, there is literally no history, no cache. So every build literally starts from zero, which means all the effort you have put into ordering your Docker file properly, it does not really help here. If you have reorder your copy command or any command which is just causing your build to to last longer, that is not literally helping here, because there is literally no file system state or no previous layer hash is present for which it is not understanding which one to cache, which one not. So the fix for this is very simple. So you have to bring the cache with you. So first, what you need to do is you pull the last built image to use as a cache. You can use Docker pull followed by your repo and your image name with a lattice tag and enable it to the true. Or secondly, you have to use the pulled image as your cache. You can run command like docker build cache from my repo followed by image. It can be seen like this. And next step, you have to push. So the next runner has a cache to pull by using docker push my repo, my app lattice like that, right? So you pull the last image from your registry and they tell the Docker to use it as a cache source, then build on top of it. So only the layers that actually changed will be rebuilt within your continuous integration pipeline. So when you push that image back, it comes and becomes the cache for the next run. So team that don't do this are basically doing a full rebuild every single time, every commit, every PR, every deploy, same work again and again, wasting compute and a lot of time during your build process. What is the mental model to take away from this video, or you have to take while you are facing a build time problem or your build is taking a lot of time? So before you go and tweak your pipeline, just pause and look at your build itself. There are three simple questions that you will usually tell you what exactly is going wrong. First thing, what is the Docker actually rebuilding every time? Run your build with the tag -- progress equal to plain. Now watch the output, and anything that says cached, Docker just skipped it. That is good. You don't need to worry about it. Anything without that, Docker is running it again and again. And that is where your time is going. First, find the place where the cache is breaking. That is usually the root of the problem. The second, how big is your build context? You don't need to run any tools for this. It's right there in the first line of your build output itself. Sending build context to the Docker daemon XMB. If that number is over 50 MB, you are probably need a Docker ignore. And if it is over 200, you definitely need to add the Docker ignore at the first place. Third is your CI is actually using or cache or not. Open your pipeline config and check. Are you using something like -- cache from? If not, then every build is starting from scratch, which means every build is your worst case build time. And whatever you see locally does not really matter for the CI pipelines. So if you answer these three questions honestly, then you will usually find the issue in a few minutes, and almost every team that spends weeks on this misses at least one of them. So what does that 3-week story actually tell you? The team was not careless. They were good engineers. They did what most of us would do. Look at the pipeline, scale things up, try to optimize around it. But the problem was not there. It was inside the build. The pipeline just made a slowness visible, which was not the cause. And this is where most of the team gets stuck, because Docker build feels like one simple command. You run it. It takes time. You just move on. But it's not one thing. It's a layered caching system with its own rules and its own failure modes. And once you understand those rules, those three questions we went through, you can usually spot them in minutes. No guessing, no over engineering. You don't need more compute. You just need to look inside your build each time. So if this changed how you think about your build pipeline, then please subscribe to our channel and hit that like button, and let us know your thoughts about the videos in the comment box. It really helps us or motivates us to bring such contents in future as well. So with that, we end today's video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.